All right, I want to show you how to install a valve body onto a TH400. There's many reasons why you'd want to do this or want to know this information, including overhauling the transmission to servicing the unit that involves valve body removal and reinstallation. Perhaps you're installing a shift kit or simply swapping valve bodies because yours is found to be non-functioning or defective in some way. So for context, this is a 1990 unit. It's out of a 3500 heavy-duty 1-ton dually, and it's got a 7.4 big block in it. So we'll cover a couple of things in addition to the valve body, including shift calibration, spacer plate hole sizes, check ball locations, configurations, etc., so that you have that additional information. All right, so here are all the parts we're going to be installing onto the case. We have our spacer plate and our valve body and spacer plate gasket. We also have our governor feed tubes. Those are going to go into the valve body prior to installing the valve body onto the case. We have our filter pickup extension tube and 2 O-rings. You always want to install 2 O-rings on the case side of the filter pickup extension tube. We're not actually going to install this particular tube because it's cracked right here on the case side of the pickup insert. So no good, but we have a replacement coming. All right, we have our filter to valve body bolt, spacer, and washer. We have our Detent solenoid and its 2 bolts. Of course, our filter. And then we have our valve body. Valve body has 2 sets of valve body to case bolts. You're going to have 8 larger bolts, and you're going to have 3 smaller bolts. The larger bolts require a 1/2 inch socket, and the smaller bolts require a 7/16 of an inch socket. So first thing you want to do is go ahead and install your governor feed tubes. Now, I didn't mention it in the intro when we were going over the case components, but there's a little governor feed tube filter in the outboard position for the governor. So you'll see it when we go back to the case, if you didn't notice it already. All right, now as far as spacer plate feed hole sizes, let me explain a little bit what we're doing here with this particular build, and that should help give you the needed context and understanding as to why I drilled the holes the way I did. Okay, I know this is the marker's kind of fading a little bit, but this is the second feed, and this is the 3rd gear feed. Okay, 2nd gear feed I left alone because I don't know what his shift preferences are in terms of firmness or otherwise, and it's a lot easier to remove additional metal if we need to than put metal back. And I know you can peen the plate shut, but that's a pain in the ass. So I might recommend 85 to 93 thousandths if the 1-2 shift feels a little bit soft. For 3rd gear, we're actually dual feeding this transmission internally, which means we've left the center seal out of the direct drum, the second from the top sealing ring off of the center support, and we plugged the high reverse feed passage in the case with a little cup plug, a 3/8 inch cup plug. So we are keeping the accumulator active. I'm going to go 110. Again, if it feels a little soft or if it's kind of mushy, then we're going to recommend that we increase it to 125 and so forth, as far as progressively working up until the shift is crisp and firm to the customer's satisfaction. All right, and then this is our valve body to spacer plate gasket. So you're going to use this version of the gasket for all years 1965 to 1987. Your case gaskets are going to be different. This is the case gasket that is going to be used for all TH400 65 to 87. You'll notice it does not have an additional check ball here in this area for the high reverse. So if you buy a set of valve body gaskets individually, just simply advise who you're buying it from or make the appropriate selection if it's an online retailer as far as your year, and they should give you the right gasket set. Otherwise, if you buy an overhaul kit, that's how you would tell the difference between the 2 valve body to case, spacer plate to case gaskets, and which one of those gaskets you should be using. All right, I'll just real quick point out that extra check ball location here on this 88 nut gasket, as you can see, compared to the 65 to 87 gasket. 1964, I don't know what that gasket looks like. I have no idea. I've never even seen one of those transmissions. So just go ahead and position your spacer plate. You don't really need any kind of alignment dowels or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, 700R4s, 4L60Es and such, maybe you do, but these you really don't. All right, I like to put a little assembly lube on the gasket or on the face of the plate for the gasket so it doesn't shift and move around when I'm trying to lower the valve body on. So again, just do the best you can to line up your bolt holes. And all these bolts that we're going to be installing and torquing, they all get between 4 and 10 foot-pounds. I typically will go 8 foot-pounds, but you can go anywhere within that range. All right, so there's our governor filter. Make sure it's there. A new one comes in all the overhaul kits. And then just carefully lower the valve body, making sure that you have the engagement stud for the manual valve and the rooster cone positioned accordingly. And then just position your manual valve so that it engages the stud right there. All right. And I gotta position the governor feed tubes. Fortunately, that install wasn't as clean as I would have liked. Of course, when I'm filming, that's when I'm gonna make mistakes like that. So you want to watch, make sure that your feed tubes are in position and aligned over their respective ports. Make sure this is, hooked up. And then just hand tighten all your bolts to ensure that they're all threaded in. And then we'll go get the detent roller with its bolt and get that started as well. Okay, you're gonna have a little bit of resistance over here. That's normal because of the servo assembly. All right, when you think you have everything as it should be, everything positioned correctly, then just go ahead and start cinching down your bolt. Low power impact is perfectly fine. No issues. Okay, double check your feed tubes. And, you don't really need to use a hammer or anything, just, your hand and some weight if you're working with this on the bench. Now, if this is in the vehicle and you're going back with it, then you may have to use like a soft mallet to tap the tubes until they're fully seated into their respective ports. All right, no particular order on the torquing sequence. It's up to you. My preference is to start with the bolts in the center and just kind of work my way out in a spiral pattern. So like I said, we'll do 8 foot-pounds. I'll start here and then go here. And then I'm going to do the 1/2-inch bolts first. And then I'll finish up with the 7/16 bolt. No check balls on the valve body for TH400s. 700R4s obviously have them, 204Rs, 4L60Es, but they're not present for these transmissions. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I miss any? No, I didn't. All right. So now we have our 3 smaller bolts. All right, and then just double check everything, make sure everything's good. You're not going to be able to work this by hand once the detent roller is in position. If you have like a little shifter, you can put that on and work the detents just to make sure everything's good if you want. All right. Now the last thing we need to install before the filter and pickup tube and whatnot is our detent solenoid. So always replace your detent solenoid, and these detent solenoids will have a seal here so that you do not need to install the metal gasket that comes in the kits. So depending on whatever you have in terms of, you know, specific detent solenoid, chances are it'll have the rubber seal there on the bottom. Just plug it in, and then install your bolts. And these, I believe, are spec'd out to be between 4 and 10 foot-pounds. So if you want to go a little lighter on them than you did with the valve body to case bolts, yeah, it's probably fine. You don't need a ton of torque on them. These are 3/8. I'll do 6 foot-pounds. Actually, that felt pretty light. I can probably keep it at 8. You're in no danger of stripping them at 6 or 8 inch or 8 foot-pounds. All right, so now that the valve body's installed, we can go ahead and install the filter pickup tube, filter, and filter bolt, sleeve, and washer. All right, we have our new filter pickup extension tube in. This is going to be for the deep pans, and it's GM part number 8629526. This is the original one, and as you can see, it's got some pretty sizable cracks here. 2 big cracks along the case side of the tube. So obviously you don't want to put that back in. So we'll go ahead and pull out our brand new one. Want to do a quick comparison to make sure that we indeed have the right part. The aftermarket sells these also, but they don't have these guide flanges or whatever you want to call them, but the factory ones are still made by GM. I'll flash the part number on the screen for the shallow pan style pickup tube, which is basically this. This is a good used one, but you don't want to use this obviously in a deep pan application or vice versa. So the filter itself has its own seal built into it. So all you really need to do is lube this with some assembly lube or Vaseline, petroleum jelly, I mean whatever works. And then for your case side, you're going to want to put 2 O-rings and lube those up, as well as the bore in the case that receives the pickup tube on the case side. So pretty straightforward deal. All right, we'll put this aside. This other one back in the drawer. And I'll go ahead and reorient the camera so we're looking at the transmission again, and we'll install the filter. That's basically it. Pan, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna film that. It's just the installation of the pan with the gasket. Okay, so the order in which you want to do this is up to you, but here is how I have the filter bolt, the spacer which goes on this side of the filter, and then the washer which I'm putting on this side. That's how it's oriented. And if you want to install both the pickup tube and the filter at the same time, kind of collapse them both onto the case, you could do that. I'm going to install the pickup tube first just to make sure it's fully seated. All right, make sure it's not interfering with anything, and then go ahead and grab your filter. And position it. And I'm just threading that bolt in just a couple of turns. And I'll back it out. This could be tricky sometimes. So we'll just go ahead and install the filter onto the tube, get it situated. It's probably the way I should have done it. And then we'll go ahead and install our spacer underneath to line it up with the location there on the valve body. Get our bolt. this 1/2-inch socket, by the way. And then all you're really going to do is tighten it down and torque it to about 4 to 6 foot-pounds. That's all it really needs. And if you don't have a torque wrench, it's not a big deal. Just get it nice and snug so it's not going to move or back out on you. And that's it. The filter is designed to float, if you will, as it's bolted to the valve body and mated to the pickup tube. It's kind of an odd design, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not crazy about it, but it is what it is. So you can make sure that the pan goes on without any interference as well. It should just install and fully seat onto the gasket and pan rail. There shouldn't be any sizable gaps. If there is, you just need to double check to see what the hang up is. And it could be that the pickup tube's not fully seated, and then you would need to correct that if so. Alright, that seems to be in all the way. So there's going to be a slight crush fit over here, but when it's installed prior to the pan being installed, the filter will float. Alright, that's the video. Hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and leave them below. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.